If all your OKRs are green, but you never stop anything mid-quarter, your OKRs aren't governing. They're just reporting with better formatting. Most leaders think OKRs fail because teams aren't aligned or they aren't accountable. That's not the real disease. The cost of being wrong is quiet. Your roadmap becomes purely additive. Headcount gets trapped. And the work that can actually move the business gets starved quarter after quarter while everything still looks on track. In a minute, I'll give you one clear signal that tells you whether your OKRs have authority or not. This is not a video about writing prettier not about smart templates or better check-ins. This is about governance. When reality, chin cells shifts, churn spikes, a launch slipstars your system, or does it just keep funding yesterday's plan because nobody wants the fight? This episode is about why OKRs become just another set of slides. Next episode, we talk about what happens right after when dashboards become transparency theater because thresholds do create obligations. Here's the pattern. OKRs only work when they carry stop power. This has 3 parts. First, a trigger. A threshold breach in a leading metric. Second, authority. A name decider who can actually move people or money. And third, an obligation. A required action stop, pause, cut scope, or refund by a specific date. If any one of those is missing, your OKRs aren't a control system. They're a narrative. So, how do you know if you have this? Signal 1 is what I call the nothing ever dies test. Ask a simple question in your week 6 review. What do we pause, kill, or defund by week 6 because the data said so? Not because AVP got mad or someone missed a date, but because a metric crossed a line you all agreed on. If the honest answer is nothing, your OKRs have no enforcement path. They're describing work, not governing it. And if your system can't stop work, it can't prioritize. Prioritization is subtraction, not just ranking. Signal 2 is the owner without power test. Pick any objective owner on the slide. Can that person actually reallocate headcount across teams? Can they move budget without begging? Can they shut down a project that's missing its leading indicator? If they can only escalate the problem, you don't have an owner. You have a messenger with a title. And then we act shocked when accountability fails. Remember, weekly reviews don't create accountability. Decision rights do. Signal 3 is the green dashboard, frozen portfolio contradiction. This one is brutal because it's so common. OKRs are green. Everyone has charts. The meeting cadence is tight and nothing changes. No scope gets cut. No bet gets no team gets moved. That tells you the organization is optimizing for status, stability, not for outcomes. You're rewarding consistency of plan over speed of correction. The portfolio becomes a museum. Every commitment stays funded because stopping work is politically expensive. So leaders buy safety with continuity. But if green doesn't change decisions, then green is just a mood. Signal 4 is the exception machine. Watch what happens when a metric misses. Not what people say, but what the system does. Do you change the plan or do you just add context? We're still confident. There were one-time factors. We learned a lot. Maybe all true. But here's the tell. If Mrs. Produce narratives, instead of reallocations, your OKRs are for reporting, not governance. In a governing system, a breach creates an obligation, not a paragraph. Here's how smart leaders misdiagnose this. They tighten the wording. They add more KPIs. They increase meeting frequency. They demand better updates. All reasonable, because it increases visibility and pressure. But it still fails because none of it adds stop power. No trigger that bites. No authority that can move resources. No obligation that forces a decision. And then the compounding consequence shows up. Every quarter you carry low-yield work forward. Your capacity shrinks. Your best bets launch underfunded. And everyone feels busy while the business stalls. So, here's what must change immediately. Install a mid-quarter reallocation requirement. By week 6, you will have moved a certain percentage of headcount or budget based on threshold breaches, even if that starts at just 5%. If it's 0, your system is not real. Now, what must stop? Stop doing status-only OKR reviews where red or yellow just produces notes. A review that ends without a decision is theater, not governance. And stop having shared ownership where no single person can move resources. If you need 5 people to agree to stop something, nothing will ever stop. Here's what must be enforced. Every time. A decision log that tracks trigger, action, date, and approver. Pre-committed actions for misses. For example, if activation drops below this, we cut scope here. If a program is behind by week 6, we either reduce ambition or add resources and paper by a set date and have one decider per objective. In the next episode, we tackle the very next failure mode right after this one. Why? Dashboards can feel transparent, but still nothing changes because thresholds without obligations just create transparency theater. Thanks for watching!